Yamal squares it. Pedri's onto it! What a stunning way to open this Copa del Rey final!
Rafinha! Stunning goal. A majestic piece of play from the Brazilian.
Is the little boy becoming a man? Lamine Yamal, what a story. 16. What were you doing when you were 16?
Hey guys! Welcome back to the Culers Unfiltered podcast, episode 7, where we bring you the latest Barça news and talk about match days in regards to both the men's and women's team. On today's episode, of course, we'll be talking about Barça Femení, their most recent games, winning the league, also their Copa de la Reina win, and of course, talking about the men's team also winning the league as well, and their last two match days, aside from El Clásico against Alaves and Real Betis, and of course, their upcoming game against Valencia, as well as listening to your opinions.
So why don't we get into Barça Femení first, because they've just secured the domestic treble and they're on the road to the quadruple if they win the Champions League this upcoming week, which is like, it's such a big deal because last season getting to the final, obviously coming up a bit short, but they did end up winning La Liga against Levante, a 5-0 win. And I just think, you know, the league hasn't been tight this year. Barca have completely dominated. The goal difference is just like insane, over 100 goal difference. Just the level of intensity that they can keep throughout the season is just really commendable.
I just feel like that for me is also like, I love the fact that Barcelona is so dominant, but it's also like I wish that there was just some kind of challenge there.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like when you're going against, like, they're going to be going up against Lyon this like upcoming weekend in the final. I just really wish like that competition would do them well, but I also think it gives them an opportunity to rotate a little bit more, which could help rest their player. But I don't even think they do that properly.
I think the only good thing about it being Lyon is that if it was like a WSL team, the title fight has been way closer there, and so they're very much used to that threat in like defensive, like, you know, concentration needs to be there at all points during the season. Whereas for Barca and Lyon, they're in leagues where there's a big gap in quality of football. And that's not to say that the teams are bad. It's just the way in which the money across clubs is being used wrongly. But I just think that Barca, especially coming up against Bayern, as we spoke about last episode, they were really on the back foot in that second half because they sort of relaxed a little bit because they can do that in the league games. But when it comes to, you know, both Lyon and Barca, they're used to dominating league matches. So they're kind of in a similar position, which is what's giving me a little bit of hope there that, you know, they're in similar positions. But I will just say, you know, in terms of the past few games for Barca, the one player that's really had to make their mark because she's not been getting starting 11 spots lately is Pina. She hasn't really been starting in the Champions League lately because she had a bit of a dry spell. She's Liga F's top goal scorer, so she obviously is having a fantastic season. But against Levante, a brace, got a goal against Tenerife. She got a goal in the Copa de la Reina final against Atletico Madrid. So she's clearly got a point to prove because she was MVP in that match too. But I don't think that she should start in the Champions League final over Salma, because I just think that Salma, in terms of against really quick fullbacks and really physical players, is just better.
I would agree. I feel like when Pina has started, it felt a little bit more like for those that really don't really watch Barça Femení, but think of like Ferran's drought spell. I'm trying to make a comparison for people that don't know. That's kind of how it felt like, where anything she does on the ball, it's just there's nothing coming out of it. It just feels like a wasted player, like a wasted spot on the field more than anything. And that's like not me trying to be hateful towards her. I think she's great, but she's definitely has had some inconsistency. And if you want somebody with more of that physicality, Salma's the person you put.
I also think Pina for me reminds me a little bit of Fomin, only because she's really good in a match where you're granted that space and you're given the opportunity to take the shot. But, you know, like Salma is more physical and her footwork is quicker and she gets dispossessed way less. And Pina, because she wants to score so bad, like she wants to get the goal, and that's commendable because, you know, like we want to score goals and we want to be brave, go out there fighting and trying. but there are sometimes way more sensible options in who to pass to. And sometimes it's all like a bit me, which Furman is also a victim to.
Very selfish.
And and I just think in the Champions League final, when you've got teams that are very, very good and on par, you're not going to be getting countless opportunities to get shots on goal because the other team are also going to have shots. So you need to be thinking rather than just, trying to think of, I want to shoot, I want to shoot. So I think Sam should start. But something else to talk about is the fact that against Tenerife, they had a bit of a shaky game. I'd say it's probably the worst football I've seen that team play this season. And, that doesn't necessarily mean it was awful football because they're an amazing team, but Tenerife score, they get a red card.
I will say Tenerife is like more like when I've seen them, they're more of like that physical, very defense. They know how to hold a defensive shape well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like at times, like for both Barca sides, they really struggle against a low block. I don't know what's in the air in that club, but I think that is like our biggest enemy for sure. And I do think like it's like the players, like their minds completely shut off when we go up against a low block. Like they get so frustrated, they get in their head, and they're so focused on scoring that they don't see like they don't take the opportunities.
Yeah, and what I really didn't like about it was obviously they went 10 men down like 35 minutes in, and we didn't look any different. I didn't even remember that the Tenerife had a red card. And the attitude of the Barca players was frustration, but it sort of was frustration like tinged with a little bit of arrogance of like not being used to being on the back foot and in that position, being 1-0 down. And that could be our reality next week in the Champions League. And I know that they might expect that could be reality as opposed to playing in Liga F where they don't usually have that. But I think, we did end up with a 3-1 win, which is good. And we've got the 3 points and we've won the league and it didn't really matter. But I think instead of like assuming that we're going to come out there and win every time, we need to almost sort of expect that things might be harder than we think. And I hope that's the mentality going into the final, because another thing that was the case for the Tenerife game was that we did have Patrick, Putellas and Bonmati starting in that midfield for the first time since Bonmati came back from injury. And I was so excited. I was like, you know what, this is like glory days again, like they're back. But I do have to just say, I don't think Aitana Bonmati should be starting in the Champions League final. And I am predicting that this is going to happen because Pere Romeu is living nostalgically and thinking of 3 Ballon d'Ors.
He's living a delusion.
He's thinking she won the Ballon d'Or 9 months ago or whatever, and
he's so me.
She scored in Champions League finals against Lyon before. Yeah, he's me too. But I think Clara Serrajordi has been putting out amazing performances this year, like on par with Alexia and Patry, and she definitely deserves to start in that final, especially considering Caroline Graham-Hansen's injured, so she won't be starting on the wing. I assume.
Another thing to add to the list,
I know, right? Awesome, right? Like
I will say, like with Atana, love her, but it's like about choosing and picking your battles, basically. And like I think one, you put the team in an unfair position. You also put Atana in an unfair position. Like she had a long-term injury. She was out for a good amount of time, And I think like putting her in a position where you're going up against a final where like there's another player that has been consistently proving themselves and has literally played this whole season in a way that like made sure that Barcelona was doing what Barcelona does best.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put Aitana Bonmati in that kind of position where then she's blamed if anything bad happens. Like that's unfair to her.
And I think that would be the case because even when we played Bayern in the second leg, she was at fault for one of the goals, conceded losing possession as soon as she came on. And, I don't want to blame her because why is she being put on 30 minutes towards the end when it's a high stakes game and she's just coming back from injury? So I hope Clara starts the final. I also think, Sama needs to start because Sama and Pina both scored in the Copa del Reina final, and so we secured that domestic treble. We're on a high, and we need to play it. We need to play it safe. I'm sorry, we need to play it safe with the players that have played well this season, not recency bias of 3 Ballon d'Ors and Pina scoring in the last 2 games, 3 games, whatever. Sama's been great this second half of the season. Clara Serrajordi's been great the whole season, and those are the people that need to be starting in the final.
I mean, you did mention the Copa del Reina. We did like mention it from time to time. I do think it's time to talk about that. First of all, I do think it's a good boost heading into the Women's Champions League final, knowing that you secured the domestic treble. I do think that mentality, but I don't want that to be like where they think they're so like confident where it becomes overconfidence, because overconfidence is not good either.
Yeah.
Also, this is their 12th Copa del Reina, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And third consecutive title,
Mm.
which is great. I mean, it just shows their dominance in the league overall. And I think from the opening minutes, I definitely feel like they looked like they wanted to score and they were like attacking and they had some missed chances here and there, but like I mean, once that first goal went in, I feel like that's like really what set everything in stone for them.
Yeah, but I also feel like Atletico Madrid were playing really aggressively,
That's true.
and there was, I think, hopefully they're resting like really well now, because there was a point in which I was like, can he just sub off all the people that are definitely starting this final? Like, sorry, I don't care about like that. We're gonna win the Copa del Reina because we're 2-0 up or whatever it was at that point. And we need to sort of think about the Champions League, because I also agree with what you're saying. And I also think because of last year, they expected to beat Arsenal. That was clear. Just like Spain expected to beat England in the Euros because they were playing the better football. Barca play the better football than Arsenal. Spain play the better football than England. Like that's just factual. But sometimes the better
Hmm.
football doesn't win. So they need to go into it with the mindset of like, we're playing a team that's also made the final, and a team that historically they have beaten us. We've beaten them more recently, but that doesn't mean anything. It's like a completely different match. So yeah, I think the domestic treble is good, but going into that final, it's like none of the season and none of those confidence boosts or runs of motivation matter. It's about the day.
I mean, they also like going like what you saw from like the last few games they played the Copa del Reina and now heading into the final, they also have to like focus on their concentration because like again, you think you're winning and then completely like they lose track of it. I don't know, like it's
Yeah.
like those kinds of vulnerabilities that could end up being the deciding factor heading into the final. Like you can't.
Yeah, the two things, I mean, I think the goal we conceded in the Copa del Reina final was Aicha, who didn't clear the ball properly, and I know she won't be starting in the final unless Paredes isn't fully fit yet. But I assume they'll make that happen because she needs to be fit. Um, you will play, but I think we just in terms of like Kata against Bayern made great saves at the end when we really needed her. But for some of the goals conceded in the past few games, that we kind of haven't kept a few clean sheets, which is a bit worrying. And the likes of like Jules Brand, Germaine, like whoever, like any of Leon's side will be coming at you from all angles. So I am extremely nervous about our defensive abilities because we play such a high line as we know. But I just hope we can keep possession because then it's like less threat.
Let's just remain positive, you know? I think
I'm
push
trying.
positive energy.
I'm literally going to the game. So if I'm flying all the way out there just to watch us get smoked 5-0, then won't
I'll
be a
pray for
joyous
you.
train. Thank you. Won't be a joyous plane ride. But if we move on to our men's team, who have also won a trophy and had their parade, we've got
You know
parades and
what?
trophies all year round.
You know what I will say though? The funny thing is both of them lifting the titles with the Olivia Rodrigo sponsorship ended up being the best collaboration ever.
Yeah, like at the beginning, because I'm not an Olivia Rodrigo fan, I was like, oh, like I wanted like Bad Bunny or someone that sort of seemed like
No, I agree.
more integrated, but it was cool. I think the Camp Nou and Olivia Rodrigo thing was cool. And yeah, I think I kind of wish that they did the joint parade with both teams at the end of the season, but
Yeah.
like, whatever. What can you do?
Well, it's the World Cup. I mean, like the
Yeah,
players are going to be right
true.
away, so that's
Yeah.
probably why. I hope they get their own parade though, Barça Femení.
No, me too. Well, they definitely will, especially if they win the Champions League. Like, I'm
Well, they
assuming
will.
the whole city will be out there.
I wish I was there. I'm getting major FOMO. Oh my God.
Same. Can we go move there, please?
So to talk about the men's team, obviously winning it in El Clásico, first time ever the league was decided like that. Let me tell you, I was so nervous going into the game, and then the game started. I was like, why am I nervous? We're playing at
Yeah,
home.
we're playing at
I
home,
feel.
but also because it would have been way more embarrassing for us if we lost.
Oh no, I agree. But like, I feel like for me, I was just so happy. First of all, 2-0 win, kept a clean sheet, obviously. I don't think Real Madrid was like really threatening. Like they just kind of the week that they had moments, but it was kind of like
They
this is
had
not the Real Madrid I
moments,
know.
but I actually expected them to come out playing a way dirtier game considering
Yeah, I
the
agree.
amount of pride on the line there, and they kind of just like sulked around.
Yeah, I will say this game, like Courtois always makes life difficult. Barcelona had a lot of chances, either saved by Courtois or they completely, I forget if it was this game, but it kept hitting one specific side of the post.
Mm.
And it frustrated me so much. Obviously, Rashford, incredible free kick. So happy for him. I don't even know how he still did that. I mean, I know he's talented, but like there's so many times this season where he came so close to scoring a free kick and now he finally did it.
And it was the
Um,
first
I,
free kick in El Clásico. Be quick. It's the first
Free
free
quick.
it was the first free kick in El Clásico since Messi 2012, which is just
That's
like
crazy. I forget, like now that we've had like two free kicks in like the last three games, like I'm starting to feel as if Messi's back or Messi's spirit has
no, I
taken
know
over.
because like when do we ever score from a straight free kick?
It's been so long. It's been free kicks used to feel like penalties for me.
But now it's like with Rashford's performance there. Obviously, he didn't play yesterday, and I thought that was because he was staying, but apparently he had like muscle
Oh yeah, he did.
fatigue. So now I'm still questioning whether he's staying.
I mean, the thing is, it's 30 mil, which honestly, for the season he's had, would love for him to stay. But it's also the thing is, like, even with the free kick that he scored in El Clasico, his crosses were off, and I feel like that free kick really did save his performance in a sense. I will also say, though, that it appears that Barcelona are prioritizing the forwards, and that goes for striker and left wing. And hearing options for left wing that are 70 mil that you don't even know how they're going to be with the team because they haven't fully adapted to the team, like Rashford, who's 30 mil, I rather go for then the 30 mil option that I already know how he is with the team and has already built chemistry with the team.
I agree, and I think obviously Rashford has like you know he scores the hard goals, misses the easy ones. It's kind of the way it's been this season.
I feel so,
But
I don't even know how that happens.
I know, but he's still got like basically 30 GA as a bench player, which you won't hear of another player doing that because not even starting players are getting 30 GA in other leagues or in the Liga. So I would want to keep Rashford. I also think Varane scoring sealed the deal. Almost assist though. It was like a little cheeky like jump and like the heel backwards.
This is Olmo though. Olmo, I love him, but sometimes he frustrates me. But when he's good, he's good.
I
Like
know.
that's the most annoying thing about it. Like when you're like almost the kind of player you want when he's 100%, but when he has like these injury concerns or when he's having like a bad day, he just makes it so hard to watch him.
Yeah, I agree. But one thing I will say about the El Clasico is it was like obviously we won, dominant performance, but um wasn't like Lamine Yamal just would have made it so much more exciting.
It was a little,
It was
I
a
can't
little
lie.
like it's when they went to like all squabble, I was like, this just feels forced now. Like you guys don't even care. I saw you guys
No,
hugging in the tunnel before. Like you aren't even fighting, bro.
I actually was looking forward to the fight. I can't lie.
Same,
I was like, fight,
same.
fight, fight, some
Yeah.
entertainment, finally. And then you have Olivia Rodrigo, and she's like,
That's so
"Did you see
funny.
the video of her? Like, they're lifting
Yes,
the trophy."
I know she's like
I'm like, same.
same girl. No, but it was a good performance. But yeah, it wasn't like the most. Obviously, winning the league on Real Madrid's heads was great. I just wish Lamine had been on the pitch. But what can you do?
We need the whole anti-Madrista duo with like Gabby, Fermin,
I
Lamine, and
know
Casado. Oh no, that's not
that would
fun.
be bad. Yeah,
Then we have the Alaves versus Barça game, which was midweek, a loss 1-0. I mean, Barca literally had their celebration Monday, right?
yeah.
The parade. From Sunday to Monday, they were going out to clubs and drinking. I don't even want to talk about what I saw in that parade. They were scaring me, especially Szczesny and Lewandowski. Why are we sitting up there?
But Chesney actually kind of like saved us in that performance a little
No, he
bit.
did. He did.
And
Szczesny could play in any condition.
yeah, Chesney could literally be 3 pints deep and no one would know on the pitch. But it's like we didn't play well at all. I know that like Hansi Flick has been saying like Rashford, Rooney, Fermin on the wing. I'd say Fermin has even been a little bit more convincing than Rooney on the
Yeah.
wing. Even though Fermin makes like a bit more selfish choice. I think Rooney's crosses are
Yeah.
good, but like he loses the ball so easily.
This is probably what Flick saw in training because as much as like Rooney showed a lot of quality, I did notice him losing the ball in the beginning of the season, but I was kind of just like, but I think now it's becoming more that he's also lost confidence and that's adding on top of that. That's like my thing. I think
And
Rooney's great. He's
he's
also
not been
young.
picked for the World Cup, so that's not going to help us
Yeah.
in any way because he's not
Oh,
getting
it's
game time. Yeah.
I feel bad for him. It's like layer after layer after
I know
layer
it's like
again.
another one, thank you. But yeah, I don't think we played that well. I think Casado starting, does that entail that he might be leaving?
I mean, I think it's already been pretty much like Barcelona are looking to like for offers for him, which is
Yeah.
sad. I love Casado, but I do think like we're at that point where he just doesn't have a spot, unfortunately for him. And also his decision making has been poor all season long, and we just can't
Yeah.
have that.
I also
Uh,
think Balde and Koundé starting, it was like the beginning of the season fullbacks. And low-key, we didn't score and we didn't have any good chances. And I think a lot of that is down to the fact that like João Cancelo wasn't on there. We didn't have
Cons
that help on
yeah.
that side.
Cancelo's really good for creativity and like pushing Barcelona up, especially with his crosses and the movement that he has, and we were definitely lacking that.
But one positive, despite the loss, we can't get 100 points, but we had a
No,
debut.
that's what, okay, but speaking of 100 points, that's what pissed me off. I didn't care that we lost. I cared about the 100
Yeah,
points.
same,
Like,
same.
damn,
Loki, I kind of wanted Alaves to win by the end because they were playing better and they wanted it more. And also
they had something
they
to
were
fight
fighting
for.
for relegate. Yeah, they were fighting to get out of relegation. I was like, you know what, go guys, you
As you
go,
should.
you go do this.
But
Yeah,
speaking on the debut, Alvaro Cortez, 21 years old, left-footed center back. I will say people need to calm down because they're like, we don't need a center back now. We got another player from La Masia. I'm like, guys, we still need experience in the Champions League.
yeah,
Why?
guys, that was
Why
his first game.
why put that on a youngster? Like you guys already get mad that we have inexperience and stuff in the UCL, and we know that's an issue, and yet you guys keep pushing it. Now, in regards to Cortez, I do think he looked like he has been playing on the first team for a while. I
Mm.
have it here where he had 5 clearances, 1 interception, I think, 1 block shot or something like that. He won all his aerial duels. He was not afraid to step out of line.
I mean, he's
Like
really tall,
he also suits the high line
and we don't
very, very
really,
well.
yeah, but we don't really have like that tall defenders. But also crazy that our centre back pairing's average age is 20 years old.
Love that.
That's perfect for the
Child
Champions
labor.
League.
Child labor.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I think it's good to have, the La Masia um project still being debuted and having that, because obviously we have no money, so we need to do that. But
we have
also
no money,
we literally have no
damn.
money. But I think in the summer we need to be splashing cash on two positions, which are centre back and striker. And I don't even consider Rashford a splash of cash because I consider it a real bargain. I'm
I
sorry.
do agree.
I actually think it's despicable that Barcelona would ask for a drop in that price for that level of talent.
Well, I heard Flick has wants Rashford to stay, so I think that's a good sign
Rashford
in
would
itself.
start for most Premier League teams, maybe bar like City, and he'd start for literally every single La Liga team except for Barca and Real Madrid. So, like, there is only a set amount of teams in the world that he wouldn't start for. I'm sorry. So to have him 30 million as a potential starter when we've got injuries and a bench warmer and he really shouldn't be a bench warmer, but it is Barcelona and we've got so much attacking strength. Like, we can't
Well,
ask for a lower price.
I also think with like Rafinha, we don't know what's gonna happen next season. I do think he's gonna stay. Like that's like I think already like
Yeah.
99%. And so unless something last minute happens. But we don't know what kind of form Rafinha is gonna have. And I would like to see Rafinha get more rest because anytime he plays, like he's running everyone in the field. He's giving 200%, and that's just not sustainable.
Yeah,
But
we
we
need
need
more
that energy.
rotation, especially for like the Champions League and stuff. But even like speaking of Rafinha, in the game against Real Betis, like he played in his natural position, which is where Lamine usually is. And he did look pretty much very comfortable on that side and obviously got the
He did look
brace.
sloppy though. I will say he looked a little sloppy with his passes. You know what? But I give him the benefit of the doubt. Everyone was pissing me off with their
Yeah,
passes
I will.
yesterday, to be
Yeah,
honest.
okay, yeah. But I think what really saved us in that respect was that our midfield was really good at repossessing the ball. So it kind of didn't look like it mattered that much because Real Betis couldn't even keep the ball that much. And
Yeah.
Rafinha scored a free kick. I wouldn't say it was the greatest free kick of all time. I just think the keeper was like the wrong way.
He tricked the keeper. I was
Yeah,
like, damn, good
I
job,
know, I
Rafinha.
know. And then the second goal, it was sort of like a fault of Bellerin, and then Rafinha sort of
Oh
just
yeah.
it kind of
But
reminded me of that Newcastle goal where he scored it. Yeah.
this is why right place, right time though. Like Rafinha positions himself for the most part in good areas. You also do have like Real Betis made it easy for Barcelona, I feel like defensively, because even Cancelo's goal, they weren't covering, like no one was
Yeah,
covering
who was
him.
there?
He just kicked it so
Loki, I thought
effortlessly.
Bellerin was like trying to put out the worst performance ever so he can like come to Barca again or something.
Fair. I don't blame him. La
No,
Masia
neither.
prevails. But
Exactly.
with the game against Real Betis, winning Barca won 3-1, this means they won 19 out of 19 home games in the league this season, which I think they're the first team to ever do that. And I'm
Yeah.
so proud because I do feel like with the way they started off the season, like I tend to forget, like I really thought like we've had so many like inconsistencies and difficulty winning, but clearly that was not the case. That was just
Yeah.
made up stuff or something, or I'm confusing stuff at that point. Um,
And also in terms of the amount of goals we've conceded this season, the numbers aren't they're literally the same as like Bayern and PSG. Like the numbers are really similar. So I think we've like kind of catastrophized the high line a little bit only because it does seem to mean that we have to work harder to come back against teams sometimes, and that was a real problem at the beginning of the year. But I do think our main issue this season has just been our striker. And
Yay.
Champions League football, red cards and such, that sort of wasn't really in our control. And I think that's where the high line does become the problem, not in conceding, but in the threat of overstepping and making a rough tackle.
But I will say against Betis, that high line was working
Yeah.
so well. We could have conceded a good amount of goals. I can't lie. I said like Betis wasn't much of a threat. No, they were a threat, but we got lucked out a few times.
Yeah, we did. But also, I want to say that I know Koundé has been starting more. I think he has got back to better form.
No, he looks I mean, obviously he's not playing at his best, but he definitely looks solid. Like I'm not defensively at least. It's just attacking wise, he's back to like square one again where he's really not adding anything.
But
like
personally,
I'm fine with
Eric
that.
Garcia was at centre back, and I actually would have rather have seen Eric Garcia as right back and Koundé as centre back. Like I want to see that because I think
I
Eric
agree.
Garcia is a better right back.
That's crazy.
I know. But I
I'm about to say that a year ago.
but then I also think when Araujo came on, he was good. I thought he looked good.
No, he looked fine.
But
I had
but
no
I
issue
think
with him.
but I think he looks good enough that like why is he still sat on the bench for 80 minutes of every game?
It's the anxiety, it's the stress.
But we've
the
already won the
PTSD.
league. Like in reality, just
No, I
let
agree.
him play and let him find that form again before season ends. Because then what?
I do think that for in Araujo though, like he's still the problem is the high line though. Araujo definitely struggles with it. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't think the high line would have worked out if he was there. It's just not his style of play. That's not like there's nothing you could do about that.
Yeah, but I also think that Hansi Flick it's clear that he doesn't fully trust him yet. And
I mean, I don't blame
a
him.
player's mind will be twisting and turning over that, I think.
You know what? Let's go to a positive note. Bernal had a great game.
Yeah, he did.
No, Bernal was so in the first half, he was the midfielder that really shined and defensively, obviously very solid. But on the ball, he was just so composed in that midfield.
Yeah.
And I love to see that, especially since like this was kind of a season where coming back from that ACL, in the beginning not getting that many minutes and now more and more minutes that he
And
is
then he had
getting.
the ankle injury as
Oh
well.
yeah. I'm just happy to see him performing and performing at his best level. And I really did like that we got to see a little bit of like a Pedri, Bernal, Gavi kind of
Same, because
situation.
I also thought that Gavi, albeit like the penalty, and we can talk about that in a sec, but he was everywhere. Like
Yeah.
even if he loses the ball, he is like a dog with a bone. He sees the ball and he's there.
I will say though, in regards to Gavi, I feel like before seeing him in that number 10 position before his injury, I was like, great. But I feel like after that injury, I like him better playing deeper. So then when you
Yeah.
have Pedri and Bernal there and Gavi that all like to play a little deeper in a role, that kind of is an issue. So maybe it'll be better next season. But like that's the one thing I did notice off of Gavi after
Yeah.
that injury.
Yeah, but I don't think with Frankie that we'll see that trio a lot unless because I do still think that Frankie starts over Bernal. And
Yeah.
unless we're doing rotation, I don't think that this trio necessarily will be the common trio.
I mean, what a good headache to have, though, that
Yeah.
we have these
What a
midfielders.
good
It's a great headache.
issue. I know.
Every team wishes. And now obviously we spoke a little bit about the penalty. First of all, Gavi gave away a penalty for simply breathing and run. First of all, he's
But that's how it
running.
usually goes for us. Red card for the person tripping over their own foot.
But like, I don't understand how VAR wasted the referee's time and then they decided on it being a penalty. Because
Yeah.
first of all, if Gavi were to abruptly stop, he risks injuring himself. Second of all, Isco was already on his knees before Gavi even arrived. And if there was any contact, it comes from the fact that Isco decides to go through Gavi to kick the ball
Yeah.
and goes into Gavi's space. I don't.
Yeah. I think the Liga refereeing is a sort of like widespread issue across the league, and it's like drastically different to any other league. And yeah, it's just another one of those things that's happened to Barca this season, and like especially considering the Champions League and everything that we've gone through, It's like we actually are like fighting and banging against a brick wall if every time these decisions go against us. Because if it's any other team, and I'm not just being biased here, but if it is any other team, that decision doesn't go that way, and I don't
I
understand.
don't understand how people defend the decision. You guys
Because
do realize the referees aren't always right. Like you don't got to defend also, does the referee know that if VAR has a different like they don't have to agree with VAR?
yeah, they
Do they
don't.
know that?
I
I
know.
I I don't know what the argument is. Oh, Gavi puts his leg in front of Isco. Are we being serious right now? If that's a penalty, then there's going to be penalties in every
Every
single game,
game,
probably
yeah.
five of them. Whatever. I can't.
But looking
Me
forward
off.
to the last game of the season against Valencia away from home. Oh no,
Yeah.
we actually have one more really big thing to talk about.
What? What did I miss?
The legend is leaving.
Oh. I'm trying. I'm trying to get that up from my mind. I cried enough yesterday, man.
Yeah, I was so devastated. I
Yeah.
knew it was coming. Like I knew the news was coming, but like seeing it,
It's just
wow.
seeing his wife also get emotional. I was
Oh my
like,
God, she
damn.
was like so sad. And like
His
he was
kids were sad
crying when he
too.
was clapping off. And also I wanted him to get a goal so badly because it would
I
have also
know.
brought him into the top 10, 10th highest goal scorer for Barca. Like he still has a chance to do that if he starts against Valencia, but I don't know if he will.
Like it like I don't even have words. This is how sad I am.
No,
No, but
same.
like I just really wish that he could have had like his last goal at the Camp Nou as like a player for the
No,
club.
same.
Um I do wish him all the best. Um it's like and I feel like it's just making me emotional because he came during like a very difficult time and
He
like he's leaving.
chose to leave Bayern for basically a downward spiraling team.
I, it just I think he's given a lot to the club and like for me he's a legend. Like people could argue
Oh,
debate that.
for me, he's a legend, but also for me, I genuinely think that like, oh, this could be so controversial.
I don't think it is. Is it what I'm thinking? Is
What
it?
is it?
I was thinking like the whole oh, no, wait, you say it
No, no,
first.
go first.
I was gonna say people having the argument between like Neymar and Lewandowski, who's the bigger legend. That's what
Oh,
I was thinking.
close. I was gonna say I think he's had like the peak of his career at Barca has been like his given the amount of seasons he's been here and the amount of goals he scored and his impact in the Champions League, he's been more effective than Suarez.
See, I would have to look at those stats, but I do
But
feel
no,
like
because I'm sorry, he like Suarez was, MSN. Like
okay, to be
who
fair.
was Suarez
That's
playing with?
fair.
Who was the midfield for Suarez? Lewandowski. Who was Lewandowski playing with? I'm sorry.
Okay, but to be fair, Lewandowski came into a team knowing that we were dealing with like a lot of like youngsters, like and like understanding that he had to like mentor these youngsters.
Yeah.
And like I have so much gratitude for him because whatever happens in the future with with the youngsters we have is all thanks to him giving them the
Yeah.
confidence and being there for them and giving them the advice that was needed.
Yeah.
And again, like he's walking to a team that knows like and he knows I'm getting so emotional I
Getting
can't even
emotional,
speak.
guys. Bear with.
Um that like walking to a situation knowing that like Barca's financial situation that um there's going to be a lot of youngsters on the field that like Barcelona has been struggling with the Champions League, being in Europa League twice,
Yeah.
like that he when he was there, and like yet he still took on the challenge. And for me, being a legend based on the Champions League, I think that's stupidity. Because for me, a legend is like in the impact you have on the club, and I think his impact is long lasting. And he was like a hero during dark times as
I
well. So
agree. And I also think to answer your hot take and also mine, he scored more goals than Suarez in the Champions League despite being there for half the seasons. Not to be a stat merchant, but I'm sorry, like
it's okay. We
Lewandowski's
could be a stat
out
merchant here.
Lewandowski's output, considering who was on the wings for him for the first couple of years, like minus Lamine Yamal, he only has really come into fruition the last two seasons. Incredible. Like on the cusp of being a Barca's top 10 ever goal scorers, 119 goals in 4 seasons, 7 trophies, winning the league 3 out of 4 times. When Barca just lost literally the greatest player to ever exist on the planet, and then he comes along, and it's like all gonna be okay, right? And Neymar, obviously, like looking at Neymar play football, and like I think we underestimate how good Neymar was, even like alongside Messi, because Neymar was
Yeah,
still getting the goals and assists, and he was still, you know, a star alongside Messi, but sort of maybe got overshadowed a bit.
I
But
will.
Neymar left Barca for
I feel like
brighter
for me,
things.
though, we use the word legend too loosely. I think
Mm.
Neymar was a great player at Barca, but I don't think legend is the right word for it.
I think for legend, there has to be a level of like moral integrity and
Yeah.
connection with the club. And I love Neymar, but there was no reason for him to go at that time. Um,
You know, as I'm getting older, like I'm not upset about it. Like it happened and he already acknowledged that he made a mistake and like to me, like you acknowledged it. Like whatever. Like crap happens. You were young at the time. Um,
it's giving Griezmann's speech last night where he was like,
all
"Forgive
Barca
me,
fans are mad
guys."
about it. But I'm like, like everyone's mad about it. But like, guys, though, he's truly right. He did make a mistake. Like that.
Yeah,
Like this is like as much as you may feel about it, he did make a mistake. Like he should have stayed at Atleti. But
yeah, he should have, and he shouldn't have wasted our money.
oh, oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm gonna miss Lilla. I also like the fact of the matter is like him saying stuff like I knew that I could help Barca. Like it was like the game that Bayern played against Barcelona, whatever the case was, and he's like, I knew at that point if Barcelona made me an offer, like I knew I could help them. And like his little video where he's like Barca's back where it belongs is so
Yeah.
true. I saw people say Barcelona technically can't be back where it belongs because they haven't won the Champions League. Do you guys know where we were? Like we
Wait,
didn't
who the
even
hell
win.
is saying that?
We didn't, I don't know, someone's stupid. No offense. We didn't win the league since when was it? Like 2019
Yeah.
until Lewandowski came and then we finally won again in like 2023.
And he
Like we
scored
had a whole
23 goals in that season. But also Lewandowski, like he will be a club legend and I like wholeheartedly believe that and we will miss him, but also given the fact that his form has dropped off this season,
it
as much
makes
as I
sense.
love him, it is time to go. So
It's just bittersweet. My only regret is not winning the UCL with him.
stop that because
I
stop. Stop. No, because he needed it so bad. I feel so bad for him, even like not even to do with Barca, like to do with the Ballon d'Or 2020, but like the UCL with Barca, like he needed that.
you know what? In our heart, whenever we win the UCL, and we will win it again,
He's invited.
I'm he's invited, and I'm thanking him because if it's coming from the core squad that we have right now with the youngsters, it's because of him.
Yeah.
So he's part of that. He's going to be a UCL winner in my eyes. He already is one, but
Yeah.
you get my
A
point.
Barca UCL winner. Well, do you
Yeah.
think he'll be starting in the game against Valencia? Because it's our last game this season. I hope he does. Also because Fermin just got injured for the World Cup. I'm sure Spain players will want to not, no one wants to
Yeah.
risk injuring themselves for the World Cup, but I'm sure Ferran Torres is desperate to be back on the pitch for that game.
I feel like he should start and play the full 90 minutes. This is his last game. Also, Poland is not in the World Cup, so he
Yeah.
doesn't really have anything to lose. Last time we played against Valencia, Barcelona won 6-0. It was also, I believe, our first game at home
Mm.
or something. I don't know. I have to fact check that. Guys, do not take my word for that. There was also a brace from Rafinha, Firmino, and Lewandowski. Obviously, Firmino's missing, but Lewandowski, I would love for him to get a hat trick.
I want him to get a brace or a hat trick. Or even just a goal. Even just a goal. All I want to
My-
see is this.
Oh my, Barca posted a video today, and he's like, one last time. I'm like, don't do this.
Shut up.
What do you mean one last time? But against Valencia, it's also what Flick wants to do because I'm fine with rotating and playing our youngsters, but it's also like, do you want to end the season on a high with a win, or do you want to end off with a loss? I
I'm
don't
sorry,
really care.
I'm impartial, like whatever we won the league. Also, we're not getting 100 points. If we were like
Yeah.
aiming for the 100 points, sure.
I'd be like,
I'd
yeah.
say Rooney. I'd say
Rashford,
Rashford.
or World Cup.
Low-key, maybe Rafinha. Can they take off Rashford? Like, I'm English.
Wait, but Rafinha with Brazil, what are we doing? Oh,
I'm
wait, no, you're
English. Love you, Rafinha, but like, okay, Rooney, Rafinha, Lewandowski, midfield. Let's go. Obviously, Olmo. I'd say just put Olmo there.
for Spain.
Yeah,
Like,
but
World
we've got Gavi, Bernal, Pedri. Like, they're all Spanish.
That's, youngsters it is.
Yeah.
That's a very unfortunate problem. Xavi Espart, I would like to
Yeah.
see starting as a
I was gonna
fullback.
say that.
Araujo.
Frankie's not
Frank-
Spanish. Put him in there.
Frankie said that he's feeling just like he's not feeling 100%.
Chesney. Oh.
I mean, to be fair, if we even play John Garcia, like he's not even gonna play in the world. Like he's gonna be in the squad, maybe.
Don't.
Hopefully.
He might. I think. Koundé. Yes.
Might as well play Balde.
João Cancelo, maybe. I don't know.
Just play Balde. Give him minutes.
Yeah,
Cancelo could come on
yeah.
later. Just give him the minutes. Maybe they'll do well for his
They'll risk a
confidence.
Barca, I think.
Yeah. You know what my main priority is? Lewandowski 90 minutes. I don't care what happens
Yeah,
to
I
anybody
don't care about
else.
anything else. Lewandowski hat trick or 5 goals in 9 minutes if he can do that. 5 goals in 9 minutes if that's possible. I mean, wherever he goes next, that will definitely be possible. If it's like MLS or like Saudi League, he'll be getting like 12 goals in 3 minutes.
Saudi, I heard offering 90 mil a year. You know what?
Oh my goodness, I know.
As you should, King. Get
But
that money.
I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll go to Saudi. I think he'll go to like America.
And if he does, I get to watch the
Oh my
game.
gosh, yes. But he also could go to
Pray for
like
times like this.
Serie A.
Yeah, my dad's a Juve fan. He said I like Lewandowski, but like
We don't want him.
not the time right now.
You
To be fair though, he is like approaching retirement age. Like City has a becoming
He's got like
retirement age.
maybe 2 more years left in him, I'd say. Two
And
to
that's like
three.
playing inconsistency though. He can't be
Yeah.
playing every game for 90 minutes.
Although
Love
Messi,
him.
did you see Messi's assist yesterday? Not shabby for a 38-year-old.
Messi's just, but we agree, Messi's not human. He's
Yeah,
an
he's an
alien. Like
alien.
you
Yeah.
can't compare every player to Messi. Messi's just Messi. He could be playing until he's like 50 probably at this point. He's not going to.
Him with grey hair, like dancing on the field, real.
The gray hair is from Barca in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's from those financial problems, bless him.
Yeah.
Well, now guys, we're going to go to our last segment, which is Cooler Counseling. You dial in on the
Yay.
Instagram, you submit your questions. We ask you whether you want your name to be read out or not. But today, because we've had to cover so much, we're only going through one question. And that is, of course, to do with the Champions League, because it's all Barca fans talk about. So we'll be going into that again.
Rent free in our mind.
We had to make something in this episode about the Champions League, so we've got to get back in it. I'm going to combine 2 questions. First, the question is, the current squad is simply not good enough to win the UCL, and their user is, and I'm just going to display. Enter
just display
Kozo
it.
Franz _. And the other comment was, who is to blame for our lack of success in the Champions League for the last few years? And their username is Samuel Lam 7452.
Great reading.
Thank
10 out of 10.
you. Thank you. I'm fluent in English.
So you're fluent in England?
Yeah.
Oh goodness, we're losing our minds.
Yeah.
It's the Barca like already. I'm
It's end
already
of
over
season
this.
blues, yeah.
So I do think like it's a little harsh to say that our current squad is not capable of winning the UCL because they've won like La Liga and like Copa del Rey the season prior and the Super Cup. But I will say it's two completely different competitions, specifically La Liga to the Champions League. Champions League is knockouts. La Liga is more about consistency. I just think it comes down to the fact that our bigger issue is experience, depth, and game management. I don't think it's the lack of talent in the squad. I just don't think we have the depth. And because of the inexperience, like they make stupid decisions, like the Inter game, like those 2 minutes, all you had to do was defend. Why didn't you defend? Why did you decide to kick the ball? I'm still on those last 2 minutes. They're haunting me. I
have to slightly disagree, but I'm a pessimist at heart. But I do just think that the current squad is good, and it's not about the age of these players. Like I think some people are like, "Oh, these players aren't experienced enough." I don't think that it matters that much. But when you look at sides like PSG that have young upcoming talent coming through, like Doué and Zayn Emery and whatever, they're young, but they also have a mix of young and old player, and that is sort of where the balance shifts a little bit. Because yeah, we have a few players that are older, but a lot of the players that we consider old are like what, 24? That's not old. And I also think that we do well in La Liga because our style of football suits the Spanish style of football.
No, I agree. I think we agree with one another.
Really?
Because
Okay.
because for me, I don't like the current squad. I don't think it's about the lack of talent in the squad. I think it's the lack of depth. I do think like there's some things we need to add into the squad, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. But I do think there all are vulnerabilities there. Like it's not perfect.
But like I do think, to answer their question directly, the current squad is not good enough. I do agree.
Well, maybe maybe I agree with that. Maybe I'm just like phrasing the wording wrong.
The current squad is not good enough because we did worse this year than last year, and we lost an experienced defender, and we gained La Masia talent, but clearly it wasn't enough to work out on the big stage against a team in which we play in our own league anyway. It wasn't like we had a necessarily really tough side of the draw. We actually got really fortunate with that, and we couldn't even make it to those later stages. So I don't think our squad is good enough. And I think in order for it to be good enough, we need to almost prioritize La Liga less.
I don't want to prioritize La Liga less because people are already taking like it for granted by saying, "Oh, this season is a failure because all we won is La
No,
Liga."
but I think the difference with Real Madrid is like they had a lot harder side of the draw, and yeah, they got to the same stage as us, but they were playing like objectively more difficult teams. But they always do well in the Champions League because they place more emphasis on that. And if we want to win the Champions League, we can't be working at 100% intensity on every single match in domestic league games, like the Copa del Reina, Super Copa, La Liga, because on a human level, you can't be playing that well all year round.
I will say though, I feel like with the Champions League, my thought is, what if Rafinha was there? Like that's what I'm thinking the last few days. Like, I do think the injuries really effed us up to keep it PG-13, or like
Yeah.
PG.
But then if we go, to the next question, like who's to blame for the lack of success over the Champions League for the last few years? Like there
There's
are
no one really to
individual
blame.
errors. They're all individual things. Like the Inter, we all know. Like this year, I think it's a refereeing error, and I'll stand by
I'll
that.
stand by
I
that.
don't care what anyone says. And I think like the last few years, obviously, we were playing in the Europa League for a bit, so that didn't help. And
I just think all
rebuild.
this stems from the fact that after like the Messi era, Barcelona did not, with the old board, they did not plan accordingly. So then Barcelona had to rebuild while also trying to like play at the highest level immediately. And that's just not really going to work out the way you want it to. And I think people have this thing where they're trying to really push for the Champions League and like, but you can't really like be delusional about it and be like it's coming. Like you can't act that way. Like when it comes, it comes. It will like there will be a time when it does happen. And I do think we don't really talk about enough that Barcelona was rebuilding the last few years. And like we were expecting them to win a Champions League while they were rebuilding. Like let's think realistically.
I do think we can win the Champions League, but I think what needs to change is, PSG won the Champions League and they had their main man, Dembele, but they had loads of players that were putting in that shift and making it easier for their team to do well. This season, it felt a bit like the Lamine Yamal show, occasionally the Lamine Yamal Pedri show. And that's not very fair and also not sustainable. We can't have, it wasn't like Messi won Champions League on his own. He had, Neymar, Suarez.
Although that 2018, 2019 run was all him. We didn't win, but that was all him.
Yeah, exactly. But to this season, like Lamine Yamal, the run's kind of been all him. And Rafinha wasn't really there for injury and whatever. And we didn't have enough players that were playing to that level to go far. So I think if we want to win in the next few years, we need players on the squad to step up in those moments and also to bring in a striker that can score goals with every chance given and have a back line that isn't vulnerable to quick counterattack.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And
Awesome.
I mean, again, I love that positivity, but this is why we combine optimistic with like pessimist. I love that.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Champions League will come. 2029 is our year. I say that every single time. I'll say it until.
Does that mean I can stop
it
watching
until it
football until that year then? Just so I can like stop the disappointment. Okay, cool.
Stop getting gray hair.
Yeah, girl. 20 going on 95. So that's our answers to those questions. And I feel like that it's obviously a complex thing because the team's changed so drastically over the last few years that like the Champions League hasn't worked for various different reasons. But that's literally, just football. And football, not always the team with the biggest star wins or the most money spent wins and whatever.
Football's unpredictable. What are you going to do?
Cry.
I agree. Let's cry together.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks guys for listening. We've gone through quite a lot there, but we really hope that you enjoyed and sorry for not posting last week. Some of us have exams to do, unfortunately.
So sad.
But we'll be back for the end of season debriefs and obviously, hopefully we'll have the quadruple with Barça Femení. Who knows? Hopefully the Champions League will be back in Barca once again, but oh gosh, we'll see.
We could all take a minute, pray, and hope, and Visca Barça, everybody.
Visca Barça.
Bye.
Bye, guys.